Should I transplant my indoor seedlings into a bigger pot, or should I transplant them outside in the garden? That is the question. If you get it right, you're the hero and your plants thrive and grow and you have lots of veggies. On the other hand, if you get it wrong, they could die. Sound familiar? We've all been there and killed our plants at one time or another. Hi everyone, I'm CaliKim. Welcome to my garden. What if I were to tell you there are 3 clues so you know for sure whether or not you should transplant or up-pot your indoor seedlings into a bigger container, or whether it's time to transplant them outside in the garden? It can really make a difference between plants that thrive and plants that die. Stick around. You're going to want to see this one. This video is actually in response to some comments over on our community page. We asked the question, what are you struggling with in your garden? And Donna said, how large do my seed starts need to be before I plant them out in the garden? Mary asked, how to know when it's time to transplant seedling starts into larger containers or outside. So head over and visit that community page on YouTube. We ask lots of questions, behind the scenes videos, and we're going to jump in and answer those questions right now. Clue number 1 to look for on your seedlings are the leaves. Now here I have some seedlings that were started about 3 to 4 weeks ago, and what you want to look for is 2 to 3 sets of true leaves. When they get to that point, they're ready to up-pot or to transplant outside in the garden. So let me show you what I mean here. Here's some red acre cabbage, got some really nice fall vegetables here. This is a little cotyledon, which is the first leaf that comes out when your seedling first germinates. And do you see how it's a little round shaped there? It doesn't actually look like a cabbage leaf. Here we have the first set of true leaves, which actually look like a cabbage leaf. So here on my cabbage plants, I only have, I have the cotyledon and I have 1 set of true leaves. I really want to see 2 to 3 sets of true leaves. The seedlings should be about 3 to 4 inches tall. So these seedlings are not quite ready to transplant. I'm going to let them grow a little bit longer. If you transplant them too soon, the stems and the plant just won't have enough strength to hold up to the transplanting process. Now I've got some over here that are very, very small. These are some basil transplants and some, I believe they're dill transplants. And look how fragile and small the stems are. Got 1 little cotyledon here and 1 little teeny tiny set of true leaves on this dill. So definitely way too fragile to handle the transplanting process. On the other hand, I have some tomato seedlings here. I'm planting tomatoes outside right now. So I have some through the winter that are definitely ready to transplant. You can see these are about, I'm going to say 4 to 5 inches tall, several sets of true leaves. We still do have the tiny cotyledons on the bottom, which will eventually drop off. But we basically have 1 set of true leaves that actually look like a tomato leaf, 2 sets right here, 3 sets, and 4 sets. So this one is definitely ready either for transplanting or up-potting or to plant outside in the garden. Clue number 2 is the roots. Now, it's really important that your plants have enough room for the roots to grow and thrive so they can take up the water, the air, and the nutrients. So how you tell this is take your little seedling pot, turn it upside down. If you see a ton of roots coming out the bottom, it's definitely ready to transplant. So this one, just a few roots coming out, 1 set of true leaves. I'm going to leave this another week to transplant in just a little bit. So hopefully that clue helps you. I would imagine our videos are very helpful for you in the garden. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. Now, what I also want to do here is teach you how to think like a gardener. So let me just show you my pepper plant as an example of this. What do you see when you look at these pepper seedlings? I see tall pepper seedlings, several sets of true leaves, maybe 4 or 5 or 6. They're about 8 inches tall. But look at these. I see a little bit of yellowing leaves, not looking so good. I see lots of dry leaves in the soil, which tells me this plant is stressed and dropping leaves. But when I turn it over to look for the roots to see if these plants might be root bound, I see no roots coming out of the container. So what does this mean? Possibly it means that these seedlings are root bound and need transplanting. So let's pull one out and take a look. Now, when you're pulling your seedlings out of the 6-packs, don't pull them by the stems because you could break the stems. What I like to do is use a spoon or a small tiny shovel to just pop them out. That way you don't damage the plant in the transplanting process. So the fact that it's really hard to get out of the 6-pack actually means that it probably is root bound And you can see here, look how those roots are wrapped around. So what happens when a seedling gets root bound? It can't take up the water, it can't get airflow to the plant, and it can't take up the nutrients. So you are going to see these yellowing leaves, makes the plant stressed out. So it drops leaves here. And especially this one that actually has a little pepper on it, that pepper is just sucking the life out of the seedling. But it can be saved by either transplanting out in the garden or up-potting into a bigger container. Now that we have the clues down, the leaves and the roots, how do you know whether or not to up-pot your seedlings into a larger container or to plant them outside? The key for that is the weather and what type of seedlings you're growing. So here in this tray, we've got cool weather seedlings. They like temperatures under 75 degrees or under. So here in Southern California right now, it's going to be 90 degrees this weekend. So if these are ready to transplant outside and I put them outside, they're not going to survive and thrive in 90-degree temperatures. So what I would do at that point is up-pot them into a larger container so they can continue to thrive and grow and get a little bit bigger before I transplant them outside. So let's take a look at our pepper plant again here. Peppers are warm weather vegetables. The weather right now is nice and warm and sunny for our warm weather vegetables like our peppers, tomatoes, and eggplant. We've got about 8 more weeks of warm weather left here in Southern California. So these could definitely be transplanted directly outside in the garden, and we could skip the whole up-potting step. So again, you're learning how to think like a gardener. Don't transplant your indoor seedlings directly outside when the weather temperature is just too extreme and can stress or kill your plant. The other thing you need to make sure that you do is make sure that you make that transition to outdoors gradually. We've done lots of videos on the hardening off process, is what that's called, where you're gradually exposing your indoor seedlings an hour or 2 a day, lengthening that time over a week's period of time so they're ready to go from indoors to the outdoor elements. And just to show you what a huge difference up-potting can make to the health of your seedlings, I've got this beautiful 1-gallon container of lettuce growing. When they were up-potted into this container, they were about this tall right here, maybe 1 or 2 inches, and were really stunted and not growing anymore in the 6-pack. But by giving them a little bit more room to breathe, I think I've got maybe 3 or 4 different little cells of lettuce in here. They really exploded in growth, filled out this 1 gallon. I'm actually growing these indoors, and we actually harvested some the other night under my grow lights to have with our burgers. There are definitely some tips that you want to pay attention to when it comes to up-potting. So I'm going to show you an example here with my pepper plant that's root bound. This pepper plant definitely can be saved. What you want to do when you up-pot is up-pot in another container that's about at least 2 to 3 times larger than this current container, this little small 6-pack. So for this example, I like to go right into a 1-gallon container. It's a great way to up-pot your plants. It doesn't take up a huge footprint. You can grow them inside or move them outside to your garden at this point. So I love the little Smart Pots transplanter because it's got a split side here, which makes it really, really easy when you're ready to plant them outside in the garden, or the CaliKim 1 gallon. So I have this filled about 3/4 full with my seed starting mix. If you're growing these inside, you want to either sterilize your soil or use your indoor seed starting mix, which you can grow them in all the way up until you plant them out in the garden. So I've just got a little hole dug in here, and I'm going to plant them down in the transplanter at soil level. So most seedlings, you just want to plant at soil level, unless it's a tomato, and then you can actually plant them deep into the pot. So just kind of tamp it down here so it kind of settles down there in the pot. If you're transplanting a smaller seedling, or if you don't have enough room under your indoor grow lights for the 1 gallons, just use a smaller container as long as it's about 2 to 3 times bigger than your seed starting container. So these are great. You can pick them up on Amazon or oftentimes get them free from your local nursery. You can use sour cream containers, yogurt cups, whatever you use though, very important here. What do you think it needs to have? If you said drainage, you're right. Always make sure it has holes in the bottom for drainage, or poke holes in containers that don't have holes. So once you've got it settled in here, you really want to water it and feed it with a gentle fertilizer. You don't want to overdo it with the fertilizer on seedlings. I like to use Vermistera Worm Tea or Vitality. It gives your seedlings a nice, slow, steady growth. I've used it for years and seen great results. The wonderful thing too about the Vermistera products and the worm casting products is that they have a natural growth hormone, which really helps with root development. And that's exactly what we want for our seedlings. We want those roots to get good and established, nice and strong, so we have healthy seedlings to put out in the garden. So I'm going to give this a nice little root drench here. I'm actually going to pour some water in the bottom of my seedling tray so you can soak it up from the bottom. And you'll be surprised at how this plant just perks right up. It's got yellowing leaves, leaves that might be dropping off, but just giving it that little bit of breathing room will really help the plant recoup from its stress, be healthier, and pretty soon you're going to see brand new green growth. Now at this point, what I'm going to do with this seedling is definitely pinch off this pepper that is growing because it is just sucking the life right out of it. So I'm going to pinch it off, and that way all the energy can go into producing new leaves, making this plant nice and bushy and strong, so that it's ready to go out in the garden and you'll have lots of great peppers from it. It will be a very successful plant. I have my pepper plant transplanted into my transplanter. My fall seedlings, which I'm going to grow a little bit longer or transplant them to grow inside till the weather is right. But this pepper seedling has been hardening off for a while. The weather is right. So that tells me it's okay to transplant it out in the garden. It's the right size, definitely needs transplanting according to the roots. So what I'm going to do now is plant this pepper plant right here in my raised bed. So when you're planting outside in your raised bed, you still do need to prepare the soil and add soil amendments just like you would if you're transplanting or up-potting into a bigger container. So out here in my raised bed, I'm going to add to the planting hole a handful of Vermistera worm castings. We want to give our seedling the best chance to getting off to a good start and growing me some more peppers. The worm castings and the organic granular fertilizer. Very important to add these to the planting hole because they are time released. So what that means is they're going to release slowly over time into the soil and feed the roots of my plants and really help it to be happy and healthy and grow me a lot of peppers. So I've got my pepper little hole dug. I'm going to grab my transplant. Another strategy you can use if you forgot your spoon, like I did, is just to squeeze the bottom of the seedling 6-pack here and then very gently tip it upside down to kind of loosen it. This one's root bound, so it's not coming out that easy. See how the roots just want to hold on to the container? Lots of good roots there, but it's a good thing we're transplanting it now before it gets too root bound. It's a nice sunny spot for this pepper. About soil level. Backfill it here with some extra soil. I'm going to put some mulch around the base of the plant. And remember how our pepper leaves are a little bit yellow? Well, I've got just the fix for that. It's really important that not only do you give them the time-release fertilizers, but you also give them a water-soluble fertilizer at the time of planting. I have my worm casting tea in here, but I'm also going to add some Monterey fish and guano fertilizer. The fish, high in nitrogen. That's what the 9 number means there, and that's going to really green up the growth. Then we've got 6 and 2, which is phosphorus and potassium, which comes from the guano, which is going to help with flowers and fruit development. So I'm just going to add a little bit to my watering can. It's very concentrated, works very, very quickly. The plant can immediately uptake the nutrients. And I cannot believe the difference that adding the water-soluble fertilizer with these particular fertilizers, which I've used in my garden with tons and tons of success, makes to the health of my plants. This plant will be perking up in no time. The leaves will be greening. You'll see green leafy growth and peppers popping out before we know it. Ideally, you want to transplant out in the garden on a cloudy, overcast day, which we're lucky enough to have today. But it doesn't happen that often. With the temperatures fluctuating, you might need to provide some protection for your plants, either from the sun or from the cold. So what I like to do is cover my plants in the warm weather here, my transplants, with shade cloth for 2 to 3 days until the roots get established. Because before the roots get established in the soil, the plant just doesn't have the strength enough to hold up to the heat or the cold. So in warm weather, shade cloth, and colder weather, cover your little seedlings with little cloches like I showed in this video, storage bins, or something you can just put over your plant to protect it from the cold until the roots get established and it can survive on its own. I'm curious to know what's one thing you learned in this video. I'd love to hear it in the comments below, and make sure you swing by our community page. I'd love to see you over there. It's actually really fun. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time in the garden.